A quick new idea daily from the world's greatest TEDx talks. I'm your host, Atossa Leoni, and this is TEDx Shorts. Sherry McIntyre teaches 9th grade world religions. It's a class that's unique to her home of Modesto, but also within high schools throughout the country. Today, she shares why this course isn't just about learning to respect each other's beliefs, but also about understanding ways to become better citizens.
It all started with a dream. I really listen to my dreams. I pay attention to them. Many years ago, I had a dream, and when I woke up, I had to ask myself, what did it mean? Because in my dream, I had to go back to high school. And when I woke up, I felt positive. Now, if you knew me in high school, you would know that it should have been a nightmare. But it felt great, and I couldn't figure out why it felt so good. So I thought about it, and I asked myself the question, what does this mean? And I came up with an answer by the end of the day. My answer was, I need to be a teacher. A few years later, I was finally teaching at Johansen High School. A couple of the history teachers came up to me, and they said, we have an offer for you. We have an opportunity you just can't pass up. And I thought, okay, what is it? They had been designing the nation's first public high school world religions course to be required for graduation. And they were looking for teachers at each of the high schools who were willing to take on such a dangerous class. And I was willing. I said, yes. Are you kidding me? This is perfect. So I have to tell you about these teachers that designed the course. If I could go back in time and be one of them, I would. But they did such a fantastic job when they designed this class. They met with leaders of the different religions in Modesto, all of the different faiths, and asked them, how can we best serve you while we design this course? They contacted the First Amendment Center in Washington, D.C., and they said, please come to Modesto and teach us, how do we teach world religions in a public high school in a constitutionally appropriate way? And by doing all of these things, they really prepared us well, and they designed a fantastic class. So we jumped in there, and we started teaching, and we taught our little hearts out the whole first year, and we made plans to get back together at the beginning of the second year to compare notes. Who had had a problem? Who had had a complaint? Who had had a criticism? How did you handle it? What should we change? And what we discovered when we got back together was there had been no problems. Teach, not preach is our motto in this class. This came up for me when I was, a few years ago, when I had a student come up to me, and she had a little bit, not a complaint, she had a concern. And she said, I don't want to take this class. So I said, we teach, not preach. Our goal here is to educate you, to replace your ignorance with wisdom. I said, if you can just go out there into the world with this new knowledge about other religions, I promise you, you are going to get along with people better. You're going to understand them and what they think and what's important to them, and you'll be glad. She agreed. She stuck around. She didn't really have a choice. It is required for graduation. And she did well. And then she graduated. And then she came back a couple years later, which surprised me. She popped in her head and said, hey, I just wanted to tell you I loved your class and I miss it. And I really did appreciate what you taught me. Another important, very important point that we teach in our religion class is that in the Constitution, the First Amendment, if you know you've heard of it, if you handed somebody a copy of the Constitution and said, read this is what's important to us, those are the first words that they're going to see. That's how important this idea of freedom of religion is to us. And I make sure that my students understand that. I tell them that they have the right, because of the rights guaranteed by the Constitution, they have the right to choose their religion or none at all. But they also have a responsibility to make sure that they protect and defend the rights of each other. I tell them, you don't have to like the other person, and you don't have to agree with them. Nobody's asking you to do that. But if you don't stand up for their right, then what you are saying, in a sense, is that that right isn't really as valuable as we say it is. And you have to stand up for each other. We're in this together. I expect my students to go out into the world and make it a safer and a happier and a more loving place. I believe that human beings have a great capacity for love and hate, but I believe that love is the natural state. I believe that hate comes from fear, and that fear comes from ignorance. And if you can replace that ignorance with wisdom, then peace is possible.
The TEDx talk you just listened to was recorded at a TEDx event in Modesto, California. All TEDx events are independently organized by volunteers who believe in TED's mission of ideas worth spreading. Special thanks to the organizing team at TEDxModesto. Want to listen to more TEDx talks? Visit our website at ted.com/TEDxShorts. I'm Atossa Leoni. Thanks for listening, and see you tomorrow.